Well, hay season's over and we've kind of started selling some stuff. We've sold a little bit of straw. We've sold a little bit of first cutting already. I'm getting ready here to haul to auction here starting soon. But right now I've been working on equipment. Kind of as I'm cleaning stuff up, I'm finding things that need to be addressed. And still kind of cleaning up the barn in here. I got this pile I'm going to take down with the loader. And then I got this big pile of loose straw here. Had the elevator here. We got the cleaned up, got the case here right now. But what I'm working on is the 966, obviously. I'm always working on it. So I noticed towards the end of hay season that the steering was getting loose on this thing again, and I was confused because we had gotten the steering fixed when it was at the shop. When was that? Last year or this year? I forget. But they had put a new rod in and this thing, and it tightened everything up pretty good, but it was getting loose again. I'm like, why is it getting loose? So I crawled under here, and we're missing a bolt. So this, I think the word for it is the trunnion or something. I don't know. Trunnion it's something up here. Anyway, there's a bolt on the top up here, and there's a bolt down here, and that keeps this thing in place. Well, this one is missing, and the top one was barely threaded in there. So this thing was barely sitting in here doing its job. So I think that's why all the steering was loose. So ran to the dealer and got me some bolts. Found me a washer down there too for the one. The other one has a washer, but we're gonna put them on. Hopefully the steering tightens up. Alrighty, bolts are all tightened up. Let's take it for a spin. Hopefully it's tight. So there's still a little bit of play in all this. There's just some slop in this pin in here, and there's still some slop in this area in there. So there is a rebuild kit for it. It's like $100 rebuild kit that gives me a new pin, new trunnion bolts, I think new bolts here as well. Just a bunch of new hardware and stuff there to kind of rebuild it and take some of the slop out. So I don't know, that might be something that I do this winter. But driving it around, it took the wobble out. Putting that bolt in took the wobble out of the wheels. It's still loose. It ain't tight, but it took the wobble out going down the lane or cutting through the field. I was in third gear. I was moving relatively quick. Took the wobble out. So that's really all that matters. The reason I'm doing this so urgently is because this Sunday for our family Thanksgiving, I'm going to be doing a hayride. So I would like the tractor that I'm going to use, that one obviously, to be in good working order. Which, I mean, it's in good working order, but you know, it was missing a bolt and the other one was completely loose. So tightening that front end up is pretty important. So did that. Also bought a grill for it, a new grill, except the little latch thingy on top for the grill doesn't come with the grill. And that little part is nowhere in stock anywhere. It's on back order at the dealership. The only place I can find it is like online somewhere, and it's $50, and it's a little piece of metal. So I told the dealer, back order it, and whenever it comes in, that's when I'll put the grill on. I got all winter to put the grill on before we start working it again. If it's not in by then I'll jerry rig something with zip ties. It's a new day on the farm, and got a couple things that happened. First off is this morning they got potash spread on all of our fields. This is the old hay field turned bean field, the main field up there, and then the two hay fields. So basically my plan is I would like to plant the rest of all these fields in just grass hay and make hay off of it. And if we decide later down the road that we want to graze it, whether that be steers or sheep or whatever, we can do that. We're just trying to figure out how to make the farm more profitable on the ground that we have. So I don't know, that's kind of my thought, my plan, but pretty much everything needed potash. So we went ahead and did that, and potash right now is actually down a lot more than last year. So while the price was down, we were going to get it put on. Then we got this wagon here, and if you remember earlier, I was fixing up the 966 because we were going to do a hayride. Did the hayride yesterday for my family for our Thanksgiving kind of get together, but the wagon over here decided to blow a tire on me literally as I'm coming down the home stretch here. It blew a tire. So I just called a tire guy and found a tire for it. I'm gonna get that put on here probably tomorrow whenever that tire comes in. I just got a used tire for it because it's not like I'm using that wagon to haul tons and tons of hay down roads and everything. New wagon tires are about $100 to $120 depending on what you get. A lot of those tires on there are getting pretty rotted out, and so are the ones on the other wagons, because we bought those wagons from a guy we knew, and they were just old wagons. So yeah, they pretty much all need new tires, but they'll probably be kind of one of those things where we replace them as they go, which probably ain't the best idea, but that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get a new tire put on there. Anyway, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get the farm truck, and we're actually gonna take all that straw off the wagon and put it back up in the barn before it rains. What's going on the farm today? An order of business that needs to be taken care of is this cylinder. So I don't know if any of y'all remember, but I actually had this cylinder rebuilt 2 winters ago, and actually it started leaking last winter, but it was very minimal. Now it's actually creating quite a big puddle on the floor. We got to get that thing fixed again. Today's order of business though is we're going to wash this disc bind. These are the 2 pieces that have not been washed since hay season. It's already December 4th today. This thing has to get cleaned up because I don't want it starting to rust in spots. The tedder, you know, it's dirty. You wouldn't really have to wash it, but I'm gonna wash it anyway and get it cleaned up. It's not getting any warmer. Today's 48 degrees, so it's about the warmest it's gonna be. And there's a kind of warm spell maybe next week up in the upper 50s, but excuse me. It's a relatively nice day today. I mean, it's cloudy, kind of breezy. Maybe not the best day to wash, but it's got to get done. Been about a week since this thing ran. I actually didn't really drive it much, but I let it run about a week ago just to keep the cobwebs and the battery charged, you know. So fire up, see what the cold start like. She's angry. I'm gonna get this case fired up. It's been a minute since she ran, so probably wouldn't hurt to get the cobwebs out of it. Close. She gonna go? Oh yeah. It's a 2-cylinder. Uh-oh, she's leaking. Well, I'm doing my favorite job right now, scraping grass cake. Some may say this is not a necessary job, but for me, this is a necessary job because I don't want all this grass in here creating rust. And if you just let it cake up and build up year after year after year, it just becomes a mess. And I've dealt with disc binds that are caked up year after year after year, and it is not fun. So I'm using a putty scraper, and we're just scraping. It's really not a hard job. It's really, really simple. I'm getting a little dirty, but that's all right. It makes it a lot easier for when I go to pressure wash it, dry clean first. Otherwise, if I just come in here and start spraying water in here, it's one of those things where you just keep spraying and spraying, and dirt just keeps coming and coming. Why? Because, well, you've got dirt in all your little crevices that you didn't get out. I'm just gonna putz around here and keep doing this. I'll get back to you when I clean it up. Step 1 of the process complete. We've got this whole thing scraped. All of this scraped out. As you can see, there was quite a bit of stuff packed in there, and you even come around to the back side and we still got a whole bunch more that was pulled out of there. Out here feeding steers now. Got a couple new ones, the old one's out there, and then we got Nimrod. We call him Nimrod because he does that. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, if you know what I mean. So with Nimrod, what you have to do is you basically have to walk up to him until he pulls his head out, because he's too dumb to realize that he can just pull his head out. This is the 5th time he's done this. Well, one of these times, well, I've tried about everything I can to get him out, but I got one more thing I can try. My last trick, vegetable oil. I'm gonna have to slop up his head with oil so that he's nice and slick, but he's pretty fired up. Wish me luck.